baby. When can I hold her? I wish she felt like this. What is all this? Is this from her? Is this all from them doing stuff to her?
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Crime or Just. Hope you had a nice weekend. What if the person calling 911 in tears was actually the reason the victim was dead? What if a young woman's death looked like a tragic overdose, until one accidental discovery exposed a secret so disturbing that investigators completely changed their theory of the case? Because that's exactly what happened in the death of 25-year-old Sarah Harris. At first, everyone believed Sarah had taken her own life. The evidence seemed overwhelming. There were syringes, there was a history of drug use, and there was a grieving boyfriend who appeared devastated. But hidden behind that heartbreaking scene was a truth that would shock investigators, devastate Sarah's family, and ultimately send a respected medical professional to prison for decades. So was this simply a tragic overdose, or was it something much darker? Let's find out. It was the early morning hours of January 26th when emergency dispatchers received a frantic call from a man named James Ryan. James told the operator that his girlfriend wasn't breathing. According to him, he had just discovered her unconscious in the living room.
Montgomery County 911, what's the address of the emergency?
Hi, this is James. She's in the living room, no compressions, and she's not breathing.
Okay.
Emergency responders rushed to the Maryland home. Inside, they found 25-year-old Sarah Harris lying on the floor. Paramedics immediately began CPR. Nearby were syringes and a tourniquet. To first responders, the scene appeared straightforward: a drug overdose. Sadly, it was a scene they had seen before. As medics fought to save Sarah's life, officers began speaking with James, and his explanation seemed simple. The previous evening, he said they had eaten dinner together and watched television. Later, he went upstairs to sleep while Sarah remained downstairs. When he came back in the morning, she wasn't breathing. He claimed Sarah had been struggling emotionally after losing her brother. He also admitted she had a drug problem. In fact, James said she had been stealing drugs from his oral surgery practice. At first glance, everything appeared to fit, but looking back, there were already subtle signs that something wasn't right. And investigators just didn't know it yet. As officers continued questioning James, they asked whether Sarah had taken something. He quickly said yes. Then he explained that they had gone to his office the day before. But during the conversation, investigators noticed something odd. For brief moments, James' emotional breakdown seemed to disappear completely. Then it returned just as suddenly. At the time, nobody thought much of it. After all, grief affects people differently. Still, it would become one of several details detectives would later revisit. Then came the moment everyone had been hoping to avoid. Despite extensive efforts, paramedics could not save Sarah. She was pronounced dead. The house fell silent. The CPR metronome stopped, and James collapsed in apparent grief. For investigators, it looked like a tragic overdose case. But they were about to receive a clue that would change everything. Shortly after Sarah's death was confirmed, her mother, Tina, arrived at the scene. What followed was heartbreaking.
Oh, God, let me do my baby. Please let me do my baby.
Okay, hold on. I don't think you want to see her right now.
I want to see her. I just lost my boy. I want to see my baby.
You need to calm down if you want to see her. I would let you see her if you would calm down. You need to step back.
I want to see my baby. Please let me see my baby. I can't. Oh, no, I can't go. No, I just want my baby. Please let me have my baby. Oh my God! Why are you trying to stop me?
Is this your mom?
Sarah Jane! brother just passed away too. Listen to Mama. When did this happen? When did this happen?
This morning.
When? This morning?
We got the call at around 6:50 a.m.
And was she found like this? Just
As far as I know, yes.
when did baby happen?
When I got here, the medics were here and they were performing CPR.
Tina had already endured unimaginable loss. Just 1 year earlier, she had lost her son. Now she was being told that her daughter was gone too. She begged officers to let her see Sarah. When she finally entered the room, she was overcome with grief. But then something unexpected happened. As officers discussed the syringes found near Sarah's body, Tina suddenly focused her attention on James. Without warning, she walked over and began striking him. Investigators were stunned. Why would Sarah's own mother react that way if she believed her daughter had overdosed? At the time, nobody had an answer. But that moment would later take on enormous significance, because deep down, Tina seemed to suspect something was wrong, even if she couldn't yet prove it.
No. Here, let's sit down. Please, let's sit down.
Days passed, then weeks. Nothing immediately suggested murder. There were no obvious signs of a struggle, no suspects, no witnesses, no confession. Everything continued pointing toward overdose. Meanwhile, because James claimed Sarah had been stealing drugs from his clinic, authorities began reviewing his practice. Investigators believed they might uncover regulatory violations, maybe sloppy drug security, maybe record-keeping issues, but they weren't expecting to uncover a homicide. Then the toxicology results arrived, and everything changed. When medical experts examined Sarah's body more closely, they noticed something unusual. The drugs themselves weren't the biggest surprise. Investigators already knew Sarah had access to them. What caught their attention was how they entered her body. The injection sites raised serious questions: the positioning, the precision, the depth. None of it looked consistent with self-injection. Then investigators noticed something even more disturbing. Sarah had no defensive injuries, no signs of resistance, no evidence she fought back. The medical examiner reached a chilling conclusion. Sarah had likely been injected while unconscious. Just like that, the case transformed. This was no longer considered an overdose investigation. It was now a homicide investigation, and one person immediately became the center of attention. James Ryan, the man who had been alone with Sarah that night. There was one major problem. Suspicion wasn't enough. Detectives needed evidence. Weeks passed, then more than a month.
No concrete evidence ties James to the fatal injection. Then, just as the case stalls, something unexpected happens. Sarah's sister, Rachel, walks into the police department carrying the evidence detectives desperately need. The day before, Rachel was sorting through Sarah's belongings when she found her laptop. She guessed the password, logged in, and opened Sarah's Facebook messages. What she finds stops her cold. A flood of conversations between Sarah and James. Messages encouraging her drug use, telling her how much to take, how often, and the most disturbing one, proof that James had injected her while she slept on at least one earlier occasion. Rachel hands investigators a 200-page catalog of messages, a complete timeline of Sarah's decline. And while it doesn't prove James injected her the night she died, it confirms he had done it before and had been knowingly supplying her with powerful drugs. For detectives, this is finally enough. 2 months after Sarah's death, investigators track James down, confronting him in a parking lot, the same man they now believe was central to the chain of events that ended Sarah's life. James is immediately brought to the police station and taken into an interrogation room. At this point, detectives already have more than enough evidence to charge him, but they still need to understand why. Why was he supplying Sarah with such powerful drugs? And did he have any role in the injection that ultimately ended her life? But when the questioning begins, James's reaction couldn't be more indifferent.
Cigarette make you feel better? Mm-hmm. Good. So, you kind of have an idea as to why we're here.
I don't actually, because I think been in my attic for the past 5 months.
Okay. So we're here. This is all part of an investigation into the death of Sarah Harris. Okay. It happened at your house. Okay. So we went to the office, went to your home. Okay. It's all part of the investigation. Okay. So we know what we know. Okay. We don't know what your side of it. So what I want to do is give you the opportunity for us to have a dialogue to just kind of talk about what led up to that. Okay. So what can you tell me about January 26th?
So I have been arrested. I think a dialogue would have been, I would have been more amenable to a dialogue had I not been arrested.
Okay.
So I think I would like to have an attorney present.
Okay.
Before he's led away, a DEA agent steps in. What James doesn't realize is that investigators have already torn through his clinic and pored over every page of his records. And this agent is about to make that unmistakably clear.
Just to introduce myself, I'm Samantha Maris. I'm with the DEA. I'm a diversion investigator. Part of my job is the pharmaceutical industry. We license you, as you know. We regulate the security of the controls. We regulate the record keeping of the controls, everything like that. So I don't know if you're aware, your drugs were not secure at your facility. We just opened a cabinet. Your records were very disorganized. They were hard to manipulate and see what you actually ordered, what you didn't order, things like that. I didn't see any inventories and things like that. So at that point, and what the situation is going on today with your arrest, we have to ask for your licenses. And so this means that you cannot prescribe, order, dispense, or administer any controlled substances.
Interesting.
The interrogation ends, and James is charged with second-degree depraved heart murder, a charge that doesn't require intent, only that he knew his actions could kill Sarah and continued anyway. According to an interview with Tina, James once claimed during a drunken conversation that he first noticed Sarah when she was just 14 and would later take his kids to the toy store where she worked so he could see her. Prosecutors point to Sarah's rapid weight loss, the long sleeves hiding fresh track marks, and the night her family found her high in a room littered with syringes. They argue James kept her dependent by stealing drugs from his clinic and continually encouraging her to use them. The jury sees the pattern and finds him guilty. James Ryan is sentenced to 45 years in prison, a conviction made possible not just by detectives, but by Sarah's sister, who refused to let the truth stay buried.
For Sarah's family, the verdict could never bring her back. But it did provide answers. Answers that might never have surfaced if Rachel had not opened that laptop. One simple discovery exposed a hidden truth. A truth buried beneath tears, syringes, and a story that initially seemed believable. And it transformed what appeared to be an overdose into a murder case. What do you think? Did investigators miss warning signs from the beginning? Or was this a case that could only be solved once Sarah's messages were discovered? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoy deep dives into shocking true crime cases where the truth is far darker than it first appears, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Crime or Just, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Until next time, stay safe and stay curious.